Ja, meine sehr verehrten Damen und Herren, wenn Sie auf die Uhr schauen, dann haben Sie gesehen, dass wir ein klein wenig Verspätung haben. Es ist schon 17:20 Uhr. Wir werden uns trotzdem bemühen, aufgrund der interessanten Gäste, die wir hier für dieses Rundtischgespräch bzw. eher Langtischgespräch versammeln konnten, die Thematik der grenzübergreifenden urbanen und ländlichen Verflechtungsräume bei den Herausforderungen und Chancen doch noch ein bisschen zu beleuchten und vielleicht auf das ein oder andere einzuzoomen. Wir verfahren genau wie eben. Es gibt Impulsstatements von jedem hier bei uns am Tisch und wir wollen dann, wie gesagt, auf das ein oder andere einzoomen. Aufgrund der doch umfassenden Verspätung, die wir jetzt haben, möchte ich mich bei Ihnen entschuldigen. Ich muss gegen 18:15 Uhr zurück nach Brüssel, weil ich um 19:30 Uhr in unserer Vertretung eine wichtige Verpflichtung habe. Wir werden uns bemühen, mit unseren Gästen so zügig durch die Themen zu gehen, wie es möglich ist, ohne zu vergessen, Ihnen die Chance zu geben, Ihre Fragen an die Teilnehmer hier an diesem Rundtischgespräch zu stellen. Ich schlage vor, dass wir jetzt auch sofort starten. Frau Landgraf-Hübner, die ehemalige EU-Kommissarin für Regionalpolitik, ist diejenige, die den Reigen eröffnen darf. Frau Hübner, bitteschön. We stay. I think it's much easier and we will have some time.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, I was just asked to report to you on what happened in the European Parliament. Indeed, we have been negotiating and I had the pleasure and sometimes the problem to share all the negotiations of the five regulations over the last year and nearly a half. Today we had the final vote in the Liége committee and we found an agreement on everything, so I hope that we will have a positive vote also in the plenary in November, which would imply that there might be a chance that as of 2nd of January the new framework for inclusion policy will enter into effect. So that means that the regions have to seriously now accelerate the preparatory work on the new programs and projects. If you were interested in the results of the negotiations on some issues that we will have later on in the session of questions if we have time to respond to this. But the second issue which I would like to also to raise before I enter into this rural briefly is that we clearly see from many analyses already now that the crisis has affected strongly the individual regions, and it looks also that the poorer, less advanced regions might have been affected stronger, and that disparities might have aggravated because of the crisis. But my experience is also that when you have such negative influence of the economic crisis on territories, the risk for cooperation also can emerge. So there might be also a tendency to be more inward-looking, to see more of our own problems and to slow down, be more reluctant to invest strongly in the cooperation. And that would be a great mistake if we allow for this. So I think your role to really to push everybody around towards increasing cooperation, because paradoxically maybe the cooperation can be a factor that can help us to recuperate faster and better way from the crisis. And that's why I think also the way we will use as of January the new cohesion policy framework and rural area development framework will matter very, very strongly. Certainly, I would like to say that clearly the rural-urban linkages are gaining momentum. We can see it in the Parliament, so we could see it also during negotiations, where in spite of very limited presence of rural-urban links in the proposal of the European Commission, we had all the time during the negotiations this issue being put on the table and somehow handled, I would say, in what way. I would also like to say that we didn't, and I'm convinced that it's the right approach, we didn't create in the new cohesion policy framework, we didn't create a sectorial a sector on rural-urban relations. We don't have a chapter on rural-urban relations. But I think the entire framework, everything starting from strategic approach to the partnership, agreements, the role of partners, then through all the changes in the territorial development and territorial cooperation, to be close to the European territorial cooperation at the end. I think the entire framework has been, I think, like tailor-made also for linking better and using better the synergies of this rural-urban space to space for development. And you can see that this type of action that we need now to really better use the synergy that this common space gives us, that with a strategic approach it can be easier, because you have to identify common interests among territories which are very often very, very different from many points of view, and this without aiming at a common strategy of identifying common interests, common weaknesses, and common possibilities of moving forward. This without a strategy is extremely difficult. That's why this very strong strategic approach is essential, and it is in the new policy. Secondly, I think that for this addressing this rural-urban linkage, having this partnership agreement, which is a new binding framework for the policy, is also very important, because member states will have to listen much more carefully to the much more binding commitment to the partners coming not only from authorities, but also from all sections of civil society, of businesses, of academia, of non-governmental organizations specialized in some areas. So you must see now that in those discussions on partnership agreements, that also people to understand the importance of cross-border and of rural-urban in the context of cross-border cooperation, that they are there and that they bring their expertise and bring their expectations into these national discussions on the partnership agreement. Thirdly, let me also say that this policy framework introduces something which is called common strategic framework, which is really a document, finally, based on regulation and very detailed annex to the regulation, which is laying the ground for a kind of holistic approach to the territorial needs, including support for rural-urban linkages. They are specifically, explicitly mentioned there as a duty of the member states to ensure that these linkages are properly addressed by the policy in the context of the partnership agreement, in the context of operational programs. I am afraid that you also agree with me that so far the rural and regional development policies that they have not always provided the best conditions for implementing these functional strategies encompassing both rural and urban. What we are focused on now, what we are focused on the current period, is more caring about the right demarcation, so that there is no overlapping, that the rural fund is not doing the same what the regional fund is doing. So there is this thinking more in terms of keeping everything sort of separately and seeing that the funds are not used in a way that would be a waste of funding. And now we are moving away from this approach, and we are clearly aiming at using better the possible synergies and coordinating all the efforts and using, especially the territorial development instruments, using also better the combination of funding, and this I think gives us a new quality approach and gives us a better chance. What is also clearly in the cohesion policy and cross-border policy is clearly the commitment of all those who will be programming the policy and implementing policy to have this place-based approach tailored to the needs of the territory. So if we can identify a territory, then we are obliged to find the best solution for the both identification and solution of the problems. And especially this new framework insists on understanding the territory on which we are going to work with our program, with our projects. So a lot of work will have to be done to make it clear what are the challenges, what are the assets, what are the needs, what are the obstacles in territorial development, and only then will come a strategy and a good program. And this is especially important that, as I said, I think that the diversity, the crisis has added to the diversity, the territorial diversity in Europe. Let me also say that we are making a huge step forward on urban dimension. But we have also there a clear flexibility with regard to the definition of the urban territory. So member states will take into account their own situation, defining what is an urban territory. And again, we have to see that urban territory is also defined in a functional way, that it also includes all those territories which have to work together to make the policy really efficient and effective. And with regards to the cohesion policy, I would like once again to underline that we are having this more horizontal approach to see those linkages through the different offers in terms of instruments, policies, and approaches. It's slightly different in rural areas. It is also, I think, known to you that we have this chapeau regulation, which we included today, which is this common provision regulation, which is providing the rules for 5 funds. So in addition to the 3 cohesion policy funds, also rural and also maritime and fishery funds. So that's also facilitating those common approaches and integrated approaches. And this is, I think, something which we have, it's a miracle that happened, because normally we know everybody wants to have its own imperium and its own funds. So this is something that happens to Europe, and Europe must be protected also in the future. But now on the rural side, I think on the rural side there are huge changes also. They are not horizontal, they are not linked to a change approach so much, but they are very clear 3 areas where rural and urban can work together, and then rural development fund can be used efficiently to support this cooperation. This is the entire area of cooperation, which is going to be funded by the rural fund. So it will be supporting a broad range of economic, environmental, and social cooperation among various types of actors. And this, some type of the cooperation are clearly also linked to the possibility of addressing issues at the same time in urban and in rural areas, especially issues related to the environment in which agriculture works. I know that you are probably around.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so I can just finish on this, but if you are interested, you can look into the second area in the common, in the rural area development fund, which is business development, where you can support businesses which are both in rural and urban, and with a subsidiary of an urban SMEs which is established in the rural area. This allows to continue this approach. It's also the very small things, and also the third area, the most important, community-led local development, leader in the case of rural fund, and community-led local development in the case of cohesion fund, where it's a territory really for, like a perfect territory for the rural urban cooperation, synergies, and joint work, including the mixture of funding, multi-fund programs, and special conditions. So I would like to tell you that even though we are far from perfect in terms of rural urban, we have done a lot to make it easier this time, because we need more growth. And of course, on the cross-border cooperation, we also made progress in a separate regulation, but we know that there is no time to discuss when we launch the cohesion policy. So I think that theoretically we are in a better situation, but this is another regulation. Whether we're going to use it depends also on us, on the ground, and in the facility.
Thank you very much indeed. Ja, es ist in der Tat natürlich wichtig, nochmal zu ins Gedächtnis zu rufen, dass wir hier doch über 325 Milliarden Euro reden, die in die regionale Entwicklung laufen sollen zwischen 2014 und 2020. Das ist auch eine Menge Geld. Und dass man jetzt eben neue Mechanismen auch eingebaut hat, diese Investitionen künftig auf Schlüsselbereiche zu konzentrieren, wenn es um Wachstum und Beschäftigung geht, da soll das Geld vornehmlich hin. Und dass man natürlich dann auch Instrumente zur Messung der Ergebnisse einbauen möchte. Unser nächstes Impulsstatement kommt von Generaldirektor Lafaz. Bitte schön.
Well, thanks a lot, and I will be very brief. First, because I already had the chance to talk to you, and second, because Danuta Hübner has said a lot of the things that I wanted to say. First point, we are clearly moving now from a more silo approach to a more integrated approach. So, in terms of rural-urban, we were very much in the mindset and in the administrative set of rural development here, urban development there. We are going beyond this, and the interdependencies between rural and urban areas, they are becoming more and more important. Economic flows increase, citizens, urban guys go to the rural areas for recreation and what have you, and then from the rural areas you have all the services that you need in the cities and what have you. This is now going to be much more recognized. Because in the end, if you want to increase your regional competitiveness, you have to work on these things. So, what do we do at AEBR? I can recommend to you as a gold mine for information, recommendations on this urban project. This was actually a preparatory action sponsored by the European Parliament. So, which has now been finalized. There you will find 11 case studies, a lot of general studies, a lot of material that can be inspiring for you. Concretely, when you look at the tools that we have in the future, you will find many things that are useful to promote integrated approaches. Danuta has mentioned, I think, all of them. Just to recap very quickly, we have special attention for urban, 5%, Article 7 ERDF, with a special reference to rural urban linkages. I think that's very important. It's not only about in the cities. We have ITIs, integrated territorial investments, that are kind of mini programs for functional areas. So where you can pick resources from different priority access, different OPs, and even different funds. You will have these famous CLLDs, the leader inspired action. So the possibilities are there. Now it's the unique moment for you now when you prepare your program to take them up. So over to you. Thank you.
Herr Wittmann, vielen Dank, das war wirklich kompakt. Unser nächstes Impuls-Statement kommt vom Europäischen Wirtschafts- und Sozialausschuss. Herr Justmann, bitte.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am the European Economic Research Committee, which represents the civil society. It is non-governmental. And since a number of years, we are very much interested in the metropolitan development of Europe. And we are praising today that metropolitan areas are now a top priority in Europe. Because we see that many of the youngsters, highly qualified people, competitive forces, and forces that are able to combat the crisis are foremost in cities and metropolitan areas. And that is the reason that this development has strongly to be endorsed. And we are very glad that the European Commission has changed the title of DG Regio in DG Regio and Urban Policies. This brings me to the second point, and that is the interrelationship between urban and rural. In many countries, there is undue polarization between the two. It is totally counterproductive, and it serves no single objective in our view. So we define a metropolitan area not as a big city or as a big city with a big region, as a region in itself, but we define it as entities that are encompassing rural and urban areas together, because they are intimately related. And as you rightly said, Mrs. Hübner, and also Mr. Tatar, there is an interdependence between the two. So recognize it and stop making quarrels. Okay, that's a very important point. This is in member states as well as transborder. The third point I would like to make is what makes a metropolitan area a success. And I agree that in the case of transborder regions, it's more difficult than at the national level. Because the main point is to develop a common mentality. And that is not as simple as that in a transborder situation. We have heard this very well in the discussion before the polls, which I like very, very much indeed. It requires also a common governance. But a common governance can only come into existence if there is a common vision. And there, metropolitan areas or metropolitan regions, transborder or in a member state, are more or less alike. How do you define common mission? And it is worth to look very closely to the German example with the Metropolregionen, the metropolitan regions in Germany, which are in German called Leitbilder. They are the orientation to the future. And when you look closer to it, the common denominator with the Metropolregionen is competitiveness, innovation, and better performance. That is all over the case. That is their mission. And I would like to stress very much that this can only be realized if there is a close partnership between public authorities and the private sector. The private sector in all its ramifications, including trade unions, chambers of commerce, not to forget the universities. The word university has not been mentioned this afternoon, but they are absolutely key in this process, and schooling anyhow, because they create the needed infrastructure, but they are also at the basis of making places more attractive for investments and for clusters. When we look at very successful examples, that's my fourth point, very good examples in Europe. I mentioned three of them, there are more to that, I mentioned three. I start with Copenhagen Malmö as a transporter region, which is a tremendous success, as you know. And both the sites in Sweden and in Denmark could develop as successfully as they do, because they are both in the same trade. The example of Finland has been put forward. It's a smaller region, of course, but it is on the same way. And it struck me that you in your intervention mentioned so strongly the input of the private sector in this whole case. This is also the case in Copenhagen. Now, a quite different example is Vienna, Bratislava. But it's not only Bratislava, it's also Brugge and other places. In Hungary, Austria, Slovakia, and Czechia. So this is multicolored in a sense. And it is actually very astonishing that we have here a twin city, Bratislava and Vienna, that are two capitals of two member states, that they consider each other as a twin, as a part of the twin. And that is because they see each other as an added value to each of them. The third example is Liége. Culturally rather close, but on both sides of the border in northern France and Belgium. Liége could only develop also as a transborder region. Liége on its own has not been able to develop as it does nowadays without Utrecht, and Utrecht certainly couldn't have had the development it has without Liége. So these are extremely good examples. There are more of them. Okay, they're limited, so we have to be shortcut, but I mention them because they have a mission and they lay down the common infrastructure to elaborate the common goals. And this leads me to the fifth point, and that is, although the metropolization of Europe has as a target to bring better quality for life and better quality for work, attractiveness for investments all over the place, the main driver is transport. And there we see that in many regions is a misfit. When I see how many years it took, and I don't know whether it has improved up to now, but it has lasted at least 30 years or 40 years before the train from Maastricht to Liége was improved. In my view, it is a scandal that it lasted so long. Because if you really say, I am one region, okay, then you have to manage that such a train is good. And this morning I read in the newspapers that the province of Limburg has bought for €1 the airport of Maastricht. Now, my dear friends, I'm Dutch, but the airport of Maastricht has no future. There are too many airports in the surroundings. So please stop this nonsense, and when you are together in one region, please identify where the chance is to develop a good airport. And that is then your airport, but not 4 airports in one region and all making losses and so on. So that is my quite good point. And the last point is very simple. I was very glad that people said before the pause, don't limit yourself, restrain yourself to public authorities without society at large. It doesn't go. It will never go. And media, newspapers, local radio stations, local television, we have all the instruments nowadays, and then the internet comes in as well, but media are extremely important, and I foresee a glorious future for European regions setting up themselves according to this model. Thank you very much.
Ich danke Ihnen, Herr van Iersel, für Ihre Ausführungen. Waren ja viele interessante Punkte, zum Beispiel Investitionen. Kredite werden wieder billiger. Nur so zu Ihrer Information zwischendurch. Die Europäische Zentralbank hat heute den Leitzins nochmal reduziert auf 0,25% jetzt. Damit werden Kredite noch billiger. Aber ich will hier gar nicht weiter auf dieses Thema eingehen, denn jetzt sollte Herr Stuart Dixon vom Europarat bzw. dem Kongress der Gemeinden und Regionen, der ja beim Europarat in Straßburg angesiedelt ist, uns sein Statement bringen. Und ich bitte auch ihm, so kompakt und kurz wie möglich zu sein. Vielen Dank. Bitte schön, the floor is yours,